You have not at all tried, huh? It's audible. Okay. 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 Yeah, please do connect online also so that you can see the PowerPoint. But please keep myself in mute. Your reduce your audio volume. So I hope. Oh no, run to the department. There'll be chalk piece box. First table there'll be chalk piece box. So I hope you all remember that we are in contract of sale now. And in the previous class, we completed the difference between sale and agreement to sell. So sale is something relating to the present and agreement to sell is an agreement to be completed in the future. So many differences we saw. In the previous class, we saw the title to goods. The document of title to goods. That means which document will entitle you that you are the owner of that product? Thank you. So, if you look at the PowerPoint, you can see that the document of title to goods may be described as any document used as proof. So, that's the first point. The document can be used as proof to say that you are the owner of that product. Okay, so that is the proof. That is, you are the owner. Possession of goods. Who's going on talking? What's your problem? So the owner will only control the goods. So this document of title is a proof for your ownership that you can possess the product and you can also control the product. So a transferable thing. Okay, when I say authorizing means I can authorize any person to use the product. Because I am the owner, only I can authorize someone to use the product. Do you understand? So that is authorizing. How do they authorize? By endorsing. Endorsing means signing. So when they sign at the back of the document, then it means that the document is transferred to someone that person can use. Do you understand? Hello, Abhinaya, can you hear me? Abhinaya, can you hear me? Why are you entering that then? What? Okay, but Abhinaya, you do not belong to this class. How did you enter the GCR now? Using your personal mail ID or institutional mail ID? Then why is it asking give permission? Just check. You cannot enter through your personal mail ID, okay? You joined the class now, no? Yeah, it is asking me to give permission or not to give entry. Normally, if you are coming through institutional mail ID, it will not ask me. Oh, are you invited to the class? Then why will it ask like that? Okay, then meet Muthukumar sir. No, BL na, yeah. Okay, you just clarify this with the dean's office because you may get a new mail ID because you're in the aided stream. And through that mail ID, you come. Do you understand what I'm saying? So check if I say endorse it. So by endorsing, what it happens is the bearer of the instrument, the person who's having that instrument, can collect the goods on my behalf. Do you understand? So if Reliance has to get a lot of clothing, okay, a lot is coming from in a ship, it is coming. But every time Ambani will not go and collect from the ship. No, he will just assign someone. He will endorse it to someone. Okay, and that someone will go and collect the goods. If that document is with him, he can collect the products and come. Do you understand? Now we will give you a few examples of document of title to goods. Bill of lading. See, all these, okay, it has meaning, but I cannot be explaining everything to you because we are not studying insignificant terms. I just say what is what, okay? So bill of lading is nothing but a shipping document. Bill of lading is a shipping document, which means in the ship, when the goods are transported by way of ship, by way of sea, this bill of lading is only proof that this is your product, your goods. So bill of lading, dock warrant, I may well don't know, maybe when it is stored in the dock, warehouse keeper certificate. Person, whoever is in charge of the warehouse, he has a certificate, so that is also a document to title to goods. I don't know what war finger is. Railway receipt, you can say. When you are transporting the goods through railways, when the railways is taking the goods and keeping it in cargo, they will give you a receipt. So if I am transporting the goods in Chennai and I am loading the goods in Chennai, I will get the receipt. But the goods is going to Calcutta, maybe. In Calcutta, when they, so I have to send the railway receipt in courier to the people who are in Calcutta. Only then they can go and collect it from the railway. Do you understand? So railway receipt is nothing but the proof that you have already loaded the goods into the train. Okay. Then some warrant. Okay. So these are examples. What you should understand about document of title to goods is, if you have that document, you are the owner of the goods, and you can control, you can own the goods. And you can endorse the document and you can send it to someone. Okay, and it is also a proof that you are the owner of the goods. Do you understand? So that is document of title to goods. Now we will see another concept which is very, very important in contract of sale. It is called as, this you would have studied even in your 11th, but I really doubt because of COVID you would have again copied and been irresponsible. Yeah, what is Kavi then? Let the buyer beware. That means in Tamil they'll say, வாங்குறவனுக்கு தான் 1000 கண்ணு இருக்கணும். That means you should have 1000 eyes when you're buying a product. You should look at it in each angle, see if it is correct or not. Okay, and if it is not proper, it is your duty as a buyer to say that this is not correct. this, you give me something else. Do you understand? So that is caveat emptor. And this is a basic principle. Check the goods before you bought it. It is going to, okay, is it a new gift? And if the sweet is not fresh and tasty, I cannot go and question him. Why did you not give me fresh sweets? He will say, I had only the sweets which were made 3 days back. All the trays were 3 days back. You didn't ask, I didn't tell. That's it. Do you understand? So let the buyer beware. It is up to the buyer to inquire. If the buyer does not inquire, the seller need not tell. Okay. Now we will see exceptions to doctrine of caveat emptor. So not always can the seller escape telling buyer did not ask, buyer did not ask. Sometimes the seller has to tell. So those cases are the exceptions to caveat emptor. So buyer, it cannot always be thrust upon the buyer to say that you should have only inquired. In some cases, it is the duty of the seller to tell. Okay, so what are these cases? The first one, the seller must not misrepresent. In movies, no? What movies then? I don't know. You would have seen that in Aditya channel and all. I don't remember the movie's name. Very old Sendil Kaundamani comedy like will come. Kaundamani Sendil will say, my sister, look, sister's photo, so he will show Sri Devi's photo. But then that girl will not be as beautiful as Sri Devi, no? So that is misrepresentation. So intentionally you are showing someone else's photo and saying this, or intentionally you are showing some other goods and saying that these goods are only going to come to you. Okay, in that case, you cannot say that the buyer is at fault. Buyer should have only inspected. Buyer just thought he's showing the sample. No, this sample is only going to come like he has thought. But it is not so. Do you understand? So the misrepresentation means who is at fault? Buyer or seller? Seller is at fault. Okay. Concealment of latent defect. Concealment means hiding. So if the product is defective, then the seller must tell that it is defective.